This is a lesson about improving kicking for swimming. And strangely enough, it begins on land, not in the water. And we do this deliberately so that you can focus on what you're doing with your body and you don't have to be thinking about breathing and surviving in the water and all those other things that may distract you from being able to observe what you're actually doing. We need to learn how to organise our lower body on our upper body in water, which is very different forces to what we feel on land. On land, our patterns of using our legs are largely about taking weight and walking, and these patterns have been fixed in our framework for many years. In water, we have to deal with no gravity and forces of buoyancy, which are rotational. So we're going to explore what happens to our lower body on our upper body in things such as crawling, which is what is the basis of swimming. We're also going to look at the imagery that we need to deal with being in water, which is very different to that which we need on land. We need to have no bones and joints. We need to have more cartilage and be more fish-like and more flexible. So we need to change our imagery to be more adaptable to the forces of water and be more water-like. So when you do this lesson, do small movements. The smaller the movements, the more we are able to feel and organise how we do them. This is about efficiency and quality of movement. It's not about effort and work. It's about becoming adaptable to the water and to be able to enjoy the forces of being in the water. Take rests often and go at a pace that suits you. So smaller, quieter, more gentle. And enjoy the lesson on land before we get into the water to play with the discoveries that we make. We're going to do a workshop on making kicking more efficient in the water. And to look at that, we're really needing to look at the idea of counterbalance and how the upper body works with the lower body in the water. As a counterbalance and also as a way to assist the body to roll. So the things we also call counterbalancing diagonal movement in a sense. So we're going to explore a little bit of walking to begin with, just so that you understand how it then plays out in the water. So I'm going to get you to walk from here up to the end there and begin walking just so that you have your arms by your side.
Where you want us to go, right? Yeah.
And you don't actually use your arms. So you're going to walk without any involvement of the upper body, so it's just your legs walking. And just feel what that's like. So feel the quality of how your spine feels when you don't use any counterbalance.
Weird.
And we might walk like this if we're carrying buckets of water or heavy things, or sometimes we use our body in a way that we don't use our upper arms. This will really also assist with things like hiking if you're carrying a pack, because when you learn how to use it, even though it's not available, it's like incorporating your brain into the diagonal movements, although you're not actually moving your shoulders.
Okay.
So now I'm going to get you to exaggerate, so you're actually going to swing your arms with your legs.
Okay.
And if you like just to feel what your balance is like, I'm going to say stop at some point and feel what your balance is like. Stop. Good. Keep going. And stop. And keep going. Great. Okay. Now this time when you walk down, you're going to use your normal walking pattern. So your right shoulder will go with your left leg. So you'll be swinging your arms a little bit more than you normally would. And feel what that's like compared to when you were first walking. And if I said to you, walk really quickly, you're running very late and you have to get to the other end, can you use your arms to help you? So we see that action of the arms coming through. Come back with sprinters, for instance. Yeah, great. So when you watch sprinters, their arms are a really vital part of their power base. What I want you to try now is thinking about being in the water when we use a lot of kicking, like a 6-beat kick. So now you're going to walk as if your arms are your legs and your legs are your arms. In swimming, it's the other way around, because our arms tend to be our power base in the water. In walking, our legs tend to be our power base. So I'm going to get you to try that with walking normally.
What, like a 6-beat kick?
A 6-beat kick with a 2-beat.
Walking with a 2-beat walk.
So have some fun as you get a bit.
Okay. Throw your sideways a little bit.
Very good. Especially first thing in the morning. Great. Okay. So that's kind of what you're trying to do when you've got a 6-beat kick in the water sometimes, if it doesn't come naturally. Now I'm going to get you to go down onto all fours, and we're going to look at how crawling interplays with swimming. So you're just going to go onto hands and knees, and you're going to just crawl along the floor as you would and see what happens. Okay, and that's a beautiful crawl that you're both doing as a normal diagonal crawl. Now stop there for a moment, and this time put all your right side forward, then all your left side forward. And go quite slowly so that you feel the balance that's required to crawl like that. So go slowly and feel all right side, all left side. And stop. Beautiful. Now this time do your diagonal crawl. So now your right arm goes forward with your left leg. And feel how much easier that is for you. Okay, and stop there, that's great. When little babies start to organise crawling, they begin by doing their, what we call a commando crawl. So they're lying with their bellies right on the ground, and they actually develop a crawl. So I'm just going to build that up for you quickly. So you're lying on the floor. If you'd like a towel under your face, I'll get you one. That's all right. Okay, and you've got your head turned to the right, and your right arm's going to be out on the floor so that your hand is somewhere out past the level of your elbow, but underneath. So somewhere in line with here, and your elbow will be up to the ceiling.
Oh, I see, like that.
Yeah, and have your elbow further out than your elbow, your hand.
Your hand further out.
Yeah, that's great. So a little bit further out, Joe. So you've got quite a big space there. Now, just play with pushing through that hand to feel your shoulder roll across your rib cage. So as you push down into the floor, you'll feel the whole shoulder blade here slide across the ribs at the back of you, and do it several times so you can feel the movement of the shoulder. And it's a strange feeling because your shoulder is lifting up, and then the whole shoulder blade is actually sliding across the ribs. Now try different positions of the hand to feel how you can get the best purchase for that. And what you might actually be trying to get is a fairly straight elbow somewhere along the line, or reasonably straight, that you could actually straighten the elbow through pushing.
So straighten the elbow and straight.
Yeah, that's right. So you could push enough that your elbow would become straight, and you might need to face your fingers directly away from your nose, facing outwards. Yep, and you can try also have your hands facing towards me, and see if that makes a difference to the way the shoulder's going. Now, pause for a minute, have a rest for a moment. And this time, as you roll the shoulder, can you let that movement travel through to your pelvis so that you'll notice that the pelvis will lift up on your right and roll over towards the left.
Straight.
Beautiful, that's it. Yeah, just do that a few times. And notice that your right knee is also bending, so that your right leg is actually rolling, and you'll find that your heels are turning the opposite way. So pause again, and now when you find that right leg is turning, can you actually bend the right leg up to the side like a frog? So all your weight will be over on your left side. your knee will bend up and it'll come right up towards your elbow.
Like this, you mean?
Yeah. And put it down again and just feel how you're using your hand and the rolling of your pelvis to actually bring that knee up. Just do a couple so that you don't get carpet burns. And pause, have a rest and turn your head to the other side. Now just explore that movement and in any timing you like on your other side to see if there's a difference in the quality of turning from one side to the other. And you should be able to get a sense that your head could almost come under your arm and look at your knee coming up. And pause there. Now, can you this time do the right side, bending the knee up, and then come to the middle and go around to the left side. So you go from one side to the other. And then to the other side. Okay, and now can you try actually allowing yourself to creep along the floor? So this might mean they can be a tiny little creeps of no more than a couple of centimetres. But the idea is to actually go forward with that movement, as a baby does. And if you feel the action of the arms and how one arm might lengthen while the other arm bends.
Oh, that's hard work.
Stop there. Okay. Have a rest there. In fact, roll over onto your back and have a rest for a moment. This time, as you come up to the side, the other arm will reach long. So the underneath arm will just reach out long in front, and then I'll swap that way. As if you're really aiming to go along.
Yeah.
And that will be easier. It should be easier. But take your time and don't aim to go too far as you use your feet to go forward. Okay,
So that,
fantastic.
you want sides that way?
Yeah, that's it. And that's enough, Joe. That's actually your basis for swimming.
Mm.
So if you can just remember that movement, so that although we don't in swimming use our legs that way, that's the basis of the body movement. So turn over and lie on your back and have a good rest now.